Y'all, it finally happened. After months of silence, cryptic tweets, subliminal lyrics, and fans practically begging for answers, Gunna has finally broken his silence and addressed Young Thug directly. And baby, let me tell you, it's messy, it's raw, it's emotional, and it's got the whole internet in a chokehold. From courtrooms to clubs, from leaked DMIs to IG lives, this feud has gone from low-key tension to full-blown war. And Gunna, he ain't holding back no more. In a shocking late-night Instagram post that has since gone viral, Gunna dropped bombshells that left fans asking, did he just expose Thug? Or is he finally defending himself from being thrown under the bus for too long? Thug's camp is scrambling, Gunna's team is clapping back, and the fans are torn. Some say Gunna's telling his truth, others say he just dug his own grave. Meanwhile, Young Thug's sister, a couple of big-name rappers, and even a few XYSL affiliates are chiming in, and it's getting uglier by the hour. So buckle up, cause this ain't just rap beef. This is real-life betrayal, courtroom chaos, and emotional confessions from two men who used to call each other brothers. It all started with a random Tuesday night post. Gunna, who's been laying low and staying out of major rap headlines since his release, decided he wasn't gonna stay silent anymore. No label rollout, no teaser, no warning. Just one picture of him sitting alone in the studio, eyes red, bottle of Henny in hand, and the caption that shook hip-hop to its core. They switched up on me. Boom. Waff. Within minutes, fans flooded the comments. Some screaming, finally. Others typing long essays about loyalty, betrayal, and what they thought they knew about the whole wild situation. The post had over 1 million likes in just under 2 hours. And guess what? Right when folks thought it was just another vague quote, the real tea started spilling. See, what folks didn't realize was that this wasn't just a random emotional post. It was a response to something that happened behind closed doors only. Days earlier, a private phone call between Gunna and a mutual friend of Young Thug. Let's just say, that phone call did not go well. Sources close to the situation say Gunna got word that some of Thug's closest people we talk in inner circle. Day ones were still calling him a rat behind the scenes. Not just internet trolls. Not just fans, actual people that used to break bread with him. And after months of holding it in, watching everyone turn their backs, even artists he put on, Gunna snapped. They act like I wanted to talk to the police, he allegedly told the friend on the call. You think I wanted to stand there in that courtroom while they twisting everything around and making me out to be the bad guy? Let's pause here. Because if you remember, when Gunna got released on that Alford plea, the internet exploded. People called him everything from a snitch to a snake. Memes flew. Tweets resurfaced. And while Gunna stayed quiet, the streets kept talking. But what the public didn't see until now was how much of that pain he's been carrying. Friends stopped answering his calls. Producers ghosted him. Even people he helped feed acted like he never existed. And according to someone from Gunna's team, that betrayal hit deeper than any diss track. This man was losing sleep, the source said. He'd walk around the house talking to himself, replaying conversations from the past, wondering when it all flipped. He really saw Thug as a brother. So watching him stay silent while the world called him a rat, that's what broke him. But here's where the twist comes in. Allegedly, that phone call got leaked. Not the full convo, but a snippet. And in it, Gunna can be heard saying something that made folks do a double take. I never told on that man. Not once. Check the paperwork. Ask my lawyer. They wanted someone to fall, and I ain't say his name. But they want a villain, so they made me one. Fans went into detective mode. Old court docs started resurfacing. Clubhouse rooms were booming, with theories. And just like that, Gunna was back in the headlines, but this time, he wasn't running from the narrative. He was taking it head dash on dot to make things even messier. A close friend of Young Thug, someone who's been seen in the studio with him for years, went live and accidentally fanned the flames. When asked about Gunna's recent post, they said, and I quote, "That man ain't family no more. You don't come back from what he did." It was like pouring gasoline on a burning house. The fan base split instantly. Team Thug and Team Gunna hashtags started trending. Celebrities started unfollowing both artists just to stay out the mess. Even Lil Baby, who had once been Gunna's ride or die, stayed eerily silent. But behind all the drama and noise, there was something more tragic going on, something raw and real. According to another insider, Gunna recently had a private breakdown in the studio. He showed up to a session with puffy eyes, said almost nothing to anyone, then locked himself in the booth for 5 straight hours. When he finally came out, he reportedly told the engineer, "I'm not just rapping anymore. I'm talking from pain now. They gon' feel this one." And boy did they. 2 nights after the infamous post, Gunna released a surprise track called Brother's Keeper. No promo, no features, just him, a beat, and pure emotion. In the song, he doesn't name names. But chilly, the subs were loud enough to shake Atlanta. How I turned to the traitor when I held it down like an anchor. They loved me till they blamed me. Now they treat me like a stranger within hours. The internet was on fire. Some fans cried listening to the track, saying it sounded like a man who had lost everything. Others called it a desperate move to win sympathy. But either way, everyone was listening. Then came the twist that nobody saw coming. Young Thug's sister took to her Instagram story and posted a cryptic message. "Loyalty ain't something you say. It's something you prove." Now, let's be real. That post alone wouldn't have meant much, but it was what she posted next that really shook folks. A screenshot of a text message thread, blurred names, of course, where someone allegedly said he never snitched. They just needed someone to hate. Fans went wild trying to decode the messages. Was she defending Gunna? Was she talking about someone else? Was it shade or was it support? Nobody knew for sure, but what was clear was that the silence from Thug's side was starting to crack. And that's when things took a very unexpected turn. A former Weil affiliate, someone who hasn't spoken publicly since the RICO charges dropped, came out in an interview and dropped bombs. They claimed that Gunna was being used as a scapegoat from the jump, and that the decision to isolate him was more about optics than facts. They couldn't let the whole ship sink, he said. So they needed a leak, and they let him take that hit. The internet lost its mind. If what he said was true, then Gunna might not be the villain after all. He might be the fall guy, the sacrificial lamb. But just as people started showing sympathy, another blow hit. An unreleased track from Thug's vault mysteriously leaked online. In it, Thug raps about betrayal, loyalty, and someone singing to the law. Once again, no names were mentioned, but the streets already made their decision. And that's where things really started to spiral. The spiral wasn't just online. It was spilling into real life. People in Atlanta started talking. Blogs were running wild. Barbershops, studios, and even strip clubs were debating the same question over and over. Did Gunna betray young Thug? Or did Thug betray him by staying silent and letting the world label him a rat? It was in that exact moment, that chaotic, emotional whirlwind, that Gunna decided to finally speak. Not in a song, not through cryptic posts, not through a leaked phone call. This time, he sat down for a full, no-holds-barred interview. On a newly launched podcast hosted by an ex-radio host turned truth seeker named Mari. And baby, when I tell you, this interview shook the culture to the core. From the moment the camera turned on, you could see it in Gunna's face. This wasn't the icy, flex-heavy drip God fans remembered. This was a man carrying heartbreak, frustration, and something deeper, something heavy. And when Mari asked him the million-dollar question, "Did you snitch on young Thug?" Gunna didn't flinch. He leaned forward, stared straight into the camera, and said, "No, I did not. And the fact that y'all still a-skin me that, after everything, tells me people ain't really read or listened to nothing. They just heard. One word and ran with it, and the people who knew me. Who knew how solid I've always been. They let the internet define me. That's the part that really hurt." Mari pressed him, respectfully. She asked about the plea deal. She asked why Thug hadn't come out and defended him. And that's when Gunna got emotional. You ever been loyal to somebody who won't speak up for you? Who sees you drowning and just watches? There was a long pause. I sat in that cell thinking we was gonna fight this thing together. And when I came out, they was already calling me the traitor. But the truth is, I never said his name in that courtroom. Go watch the footage. Go read the documents. What they had on him, they already had. I ain't add to it. But they needed a villain, and I was the easy one to blame. The clip went viral. Fans started going back through court records. Reddit threads turned into digital courtrooms. Even law blogs started analyzing every inch of the transcript. And you know what? Turns out, Gunna might have been telling the truth. Because in that Alford plea, he technically didn't implicate Thug in any new charges. He simply acknowledged that Weil was a gang, which was already a known factor in the case. But of course, by then, the damage had been done. Perception was already shaped. Loyalty lines were already drawn. And people love a villain more than they love the facts. Still, the interview shifted the energy. Fans who once dragged Gunna began softening. Influencers who once stayed silent now spoke up. Even more shocking, a major producer who had worked with both Thug and Gunna posted a throwback video of all three in the studio, laughing, eating, just vibing like brothers. His caption, "Some of the realest times. Hate what this turned into. Tot." Everyone was here for the redemption arc. Because just hours after Gunna's interview dropped, young Thug's cousin, who also happens to be an up-and-coming rapper, took to Instagram Live and went off. Don't let him fool y'all. That man was scared. He folded. You don't get out like that unless you gave something. I'd see how many interviews he do. That bond is broken, and it ain't never getting fixed. Fans were quick to respond, with some calling it clout chasing, while others swore up and down it was the truth. But what nobody expected was for someone from Thug's legal team to enter the chat. On legal podcast episode that barely got 1,000 views before this drama. One of Thug's former attorneys casually mentioned, "Truth be told, Mr. Kitchens didn't destroy our tech. Destroys our case. If anything, he complicated it." But there were far worse statements made by other individuals. The public just latched onto his because of who he is. And just like that, the internet flipped again. Now folks were asking, if Gunna didn't destroy Thug's case, why did Thug never clear his name? Why let the world burn your brother alive? And that question started gaining traction. Celebrities who had once shaded Gunna were talking. Big names started quietly refollowing him on Instagram. A few even liked his brother's keeper track. but none of them dared say anything publicly. Why? Because the Weil situation wasn't just legal, it was emotional. And one wrong move could get you iced out on either side. Then came the most shocking twist yet. Someone leaked a voicemail from Gunna to Young Thug. It's unclear how old it is or who leaked it, but in it, Gunna's voice is shaking. You can hear the pain, the confusion, the desperation. "I don't know what else you want from me, bro. I held it down. I ain't fold. They put me in a position and I got out. But I never flipped on you. Why you let them treat me like I'm the enemy? I thought we was brothers." Fans were stunned. People cried. Others were skeptical. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just rap beef. This was real. Two men who once loved each other like family, now separated by lawyers, rumors, and public betrayal. And right when the internet thought they had heard it all, Young Thug's mother, yes, his own mama, decided to speak up. She posted a throwback photo of Gunna and Thug at a family cookout. Arms around each other, big smiles. The kind of picture that looks innocent at first, until you read the caption. Sometimes the devil don't wear red. He wear pain. And he cries too. Fans were confused. Was she calling Gunna the devil, or was she saying he was the one in pain? Either way, it added fuel to a fire that was already out of control. And that's when a third party entered the mix, someone nobody expected. Lil Durk in a surprise move. Durk posted a screenshot of him listening to Brother's Keeper. With the caption, "This one hit different." No context, no explanation, but the message. Loud and clear, and just like that, the whole industry started watching with wide eyes. Because if Lil Durk, someone deeply respected and known for, standing on loyalty, was publicly showing any support to Gunna, that could mean the tides were changing. But before the dust could settle, things got even darker. Gunna's former manager, who had been silent for months, came out of hiding with a vengeance. In an Instagram story rant, he accused Gunna of playing both sides. He talking like a victim now, but he was fine living the lifestyle until it got real. "You don't get to cry now. You made choices, and some of us paid for them." Fans were exhausted by this point. Emotions were all over the place. Nobody knew who to believe, who to trust, or who to cancel. And both Gunna and Thug remained dead silent, till something happened that nobody expected. Out of nowhere, Gunna posted a picture to his Instagram story. No caption, no text. Just an old, never-before-seen photo of him and Young Thug in a car, both smiling, eyes low, chains gleaming, like two kings of Atlanta with the whole world in their hands. But what made the post go viral wasn't the photo itself, it was the song playing in the background. Halftime by Young Thug, yes, his song. Not a remix, not a cover, just straight up Thug's voice, loud and clear, vibing in the background. Of a moment, the industry was divided. Fans were arguing in the comments like it was a political debate. The streets of Atlanta were buzzing, and I mean buzzing. Even Uz started stepping in. Agmako tweeted, "Both them boys hurt, but pride gone keep. M from ever seeing eye to eye again." But the drama wasn't done cooking. That same night, an anonymous leak hit the web. It was an unreleased verse from Gunna's upcoming project, and this time, there were no subliminals, no metaphors, no filters. He named names in the leaked verse. Gunna raps, "They want me dead and the county smiles on they faces. They clownin'. He let M lie on my name when I kept him from drownin'." The internet lost its mind. This wasn't just emotional venting. This was a direct shot. Fans couldn't believe it. Even blogs that had been staying neutral couldn't resist jumping in. Headlines everywhere read the same thing. Gunna goes nuclear on Young Thug. But the most jaw-dropping moment came when a fan commented under Gunna's latest post, "I used to ride for a while. Now I ride for truth." And guess who liked the comment? Slime's own sister, Yup. The same sister who is throwing subs and posting. Cryptic Messages a week ago had just liked a comment that basically sided with Gunna. And when fans started flooding her DMs for answers, she doubled down and posted a quote that had the whole culture raising eyebrows. "Sometimes, the wrong one gets punished while the quiet ones watch in guilt." People were losing their minds. Was she saying Thug let Gunna take the fall? Was she saying Gunna was innocent all along? Or was she just tired of the silence, the secrets, and the damage? But the wildest moment came from a place no one saw coming. Drake. The sixth god hopped into the mess subtly, like he always does. By posting a cryptic story with a photo of a chessboard and the caption, "The king doesn't move unless it's checkmate." People went crazy trying to decode the message. Was he referring to Gunna making the next move? Was he warning Thug? Was he setting up some secret alliance? And to make it even messier, he followed Gunna back on Instagram that same night? That one follow had more impact than a diss track. The blogs ate it up. Fans went wild. Other artists started quietly switching sides. The tide was shifting and you could feel it in the air. But even with all this momentum behind him, Gunna wasn't celebrating. According to one of his engineers, he broke down crying during a playback session. He just sat there listening to the track on loop, the engineer said. He ain't say nothin'. Then, out of nowhere, he whispered, "I miss my brother," and walked out the room. It was clear this wasn't just music to him. This wasn't clout chasing. This was a man battling the weight of betrayal, love, grief, and a shattered legacy. Meanwhile, Thug's camp was getting more defensive. His team dropped an official statement, vague as ever, saying, "Young Thug appreciates the love and support from his fans. He is focused on his legal situation and maintaining peace through the storm." But for fans, that wasn't enough. People wanted answers. They wanted a response. They wanted to know, did Young Thug ever consider Gunna a snitch? Or did he let him become one for convenience? Then, just when it felt like this saga couldn't twist any further, a new video surfaced. A never-before-seen clip of Gunna and Thug, filmed just months before the RICO case, having a deep conversation in the back of a studio. In the grainy footage, Thug says, "If anything ever go down, we stand tall. Ain't no folding." To which Gunna responds, "I got you. 10 toes." The internet exploded. That moment, captured on camera, felt like a time capsule from before everything went wrong. It hurt, it healed. It reopened wounds. It reminded fans of what used to be, and it made the question even harder. Where did it all fall apart? Some blame the system. Some blame the silence. Some blame pride. Some still blame Gunna. But everyone agrees. Something went deeply wrong. Because this ain't just about court cases and rap lyrics. This is about brotherhood. About how loyalty can turn into loneliness. About how fame can divide even the tightest bond. And it ain't over yet. Because just as the industry tried to catch its breath, another name jumped into the fire. Meek Mill. He tweeted one word, truth, and didn't say another thing. Fans started speculating he was choosing sides, but whose side was he on? What did he mean by truth? Was he talking about the case, the betrayal, the silence? Then the rumors started swirling. Word on the street is that a reconciliation meeting was being planned behind the scenes. Not by the artists, but by their mutual friends. Big players in Atlanta were allegedly trying to bring them together. Not to make music, not to go back to how things were, just to talk, to sit down, face to face, and talk. Because at the heart of this whole mess are two men who used to call each other family, who built a sound together, who carried Atlanta on their backs. And now they can't even speak. And that, more than anything, has the fans heartbroken. But is peace even possible? That's the question everyone's asking. But is peace even possible? Word on the street was that a sit-down was being organized by a few heavyweights in the Atlanta scene, Oz. Producers. And even one legendary radio host who'd been in the game long enough to know when to step in before something tragic happened. They weren't trying to get Gunna and Thug back in the studio. They weren't talking about a wild reunion. They just wanted to end the Cold War that was dividing the city. The culture and the fan base, sources close to the situation, say both sides agreed. Reluctantly, the meeting was set in a private mansion in Buckhead. No cameras, no press, no entourage. Just a few chairs in a room and a whole lot of tension in the air. Gunna arrived first, dressed down in all black, looking tired, worn but calm. Not calm like peaceful, calm like a man who's been through hell and decided he's not going to explode anymore. Then young Thug arrived. Fresh out of court, silent, Thug finally responded, voice low. "You don't know what I'm dealing with. You think this *T easy?" "Nah," Gunna said. "But I thought it was us against it. Not me alone," and just like that, both men sat back, breathing heavy. The silence between them now wasn't cold, it was full. Full of regrets, full of memories, full of brotherhood that had been burned down to ashes. Someone from the meeting later leaked details to a close friend who posted anonymously on a rap blog. They said the room stayed quiet for a long time after that exchange. No hug, no apology, but also no war. And that was a win. They didn't leave as friends, but they didn't leave as enemies either. Just two men who had once been brothers, finally facing the wreckage. And while that private meeting gave them some closure, the fans were still hungry for something real, something public, something undeniable. That's when, out of nowhere, an official snippet dropped on SoundCloud. Not from Gunna, not from Thug. From the two of them together. An unreleased song recorded 2 years before the RICO case during a quiet night session never meant for the public. It was raw, unmixed, unmastered. Just two voices, vibing, feeding off each other, and, in the outro, you could hear Thug laughing, "Me and Twin forever." Fans broke down. Comments flooded in. This *T hurts now. They really was brothers. How did it come to this? The track wasn't even released officially. No title, no promo. But it trended for 48 hours straight. People were remixing it, making fan edits, posting old tour clips with the audio underneath. It was a reminder of what was lost, and maybe what could still be found. But of course, not everyone was moved. Because in the midst of all this reconciliation talk, someone from inside Wall went on a live stream and reignited the fire. They can meet up and cry all they want, the affiliate said. But the streets know what it is. Gunna ain't welcome back. Ain't no cleaning that up. And just like that, the divide was back. Some fans started reposting old snitch memes. Others defended Gunna, saying he had every right to tell his truth. The comments were back to war. Team Thug versus Team Gunna. Loyalty versus facts. Heart versus headlines. Then came the last bombshell. A new mixtape track leaked, and this time, it was young Thug rapping, not a throwback. Not a recycled verse, a fresh emotional track recorded just weeks earlier. And in the outro, he says one word. Twin, he didn't name Gunna. Teed didn't confirm anything. But that word, that one word echoed louder than any diss or post ever could. Because that's what they used to call each other, Twin and fans. Knew, some said it was shade. Others said it was a peace signal, and many believe it was Thug's way of admitting, quietly. That the love never fully died, as of now. Both camps remain silent. No official statements, no follow-backs, no collabs. Just quiet, but a different kind of quiet. This time, not war, not peace, just pause, not a moment in time where the culture finally stops yelling and just listens. To the music, to the pain, to the history. Because when you strip away the chains, the fame, the followers, and the rumors, you've got two young men who came up out the mud together. It's built an empire, changed the sound of an entire generation, and somewhere along the way, it all crumbled. But maybe, just maybe, it doesn't have to end in flames. Because if there's one thing this story has shown us, it's that in the world of rap, loyalty is loud, but pain is louder. Silence speaks volumes. And sometimes, the biggest betrayals don't happen in courtrooms. They happen in hearts. So what happens next? Will they talk again? Will they ever collab? Will they publicly squash the beef? Or will this story become just another cautionary tale in hip-hop history to legends lost to ego, lawyers, and the internet? We don't know yet, but one thing's for sure. Everybody's still watching, and everybody's still listening. End of main body. And just like that, we're left with more questions than answers. Gunna finally broke his silence. Young Thug stood his ground. The fans split right down the middle. Some believe Gunna did what he had to do. Others say loyalty ain't optional, it's forever. And even with the private meeting, the leaked tracks, and all the cryptic posts, one thing still lingers in the air like smoke after a fire. Can this bond ever be repaired? These weren't just two rappers. They were family, brothers, twin flames in the Atlanta rap game. And seeing that foundation crack has fans emotional, conflicted, and confused. Because no matter who you side with, there's one undeniable truth. This hurts both of them. This was more than court documents and street codes. This was personal, and honestly, we might never get all the answers. We might never hear a joint track again. Never see them side by side on stage.